Welcome to Insight the Mental Health. I'm Bob Avenue, your host, and we would like to welcome our guest, Casey Walensky,
Thank you for having me.
who will be sharing his story with us, and also Mr. Mike Wetzel, who will be doing some of his fabulous music for us as we go along in the show. The lovely Jerry Bushnell couldn't make it tonight. Richard Phelps couldn't make it. He's in Seattle babysitting with some dogs for a friend. So we miss those two people. But it's just me and the guys, and we'll just go on and try to give y'all a good show. And when we start the show, we always start with a prayer. And I would like to start the prayer. Father, we come into your presence humbly and ask you for mercy in us delivering this message to the people. Like you say, by your stripes we are healed. We ask that the message we give to the public is a healing message that people will catch on to and maybe inspire them or maybe even heal them, when we talk about God, like you always say, the name Jesus cuts like a two-edged sword. So we're proclaiming your name, Father, and we ask that we deliver this message and we the people enjoy what we're going to present, and maybe people will call in that want prayer anytime. The phones are open. So thank you, Jesus, in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we start off. First of all, I'd like to brag about myself. I like to always brag about myself because I used to be so down and out at one time in my life with the schizophrenia, like Casey has, and we'll be talking about it. I was so down, I was washing dishes, half out of my mind, being the joke of the town, people abusing me. My dad always abused me and neglected me and never accepted me. And people would make fun of me, and they knew I was fearful with the schizophrenia. They didn't know what I had. They thought I was psycho, so they would intimidate me all the time. And the fear would be great. Like if somebody told me they wanted to talk to me and they said it kind of forcefully, I would be as fearful about what they were going to say as meeting a 250-pound man in an alley with a knife who was coming at me. That's how much the fear would hit me. So anyway, that was the schizophrenia, and that was a joke until Mike Fuselier, who had this guy from St. Martinville, he's a councilman on the St. Martin Council, and he led me to the Lord. He introduced me to Jesus, and it seems like that has been the elixir to my recovery and dealing with schizophrenia, which has greatly improved my whole countenance, and I would like to say, as far I've always been one. The TV went off, Lucy. I've always been one for love. Like we all have our priorities. Love has been my number one priority in my life, and I never did get much of it, hardly any. Nobody has ever wanted me. Nobody has ever been interested in me, except briefly. And I've been abused, betrayed, and rejected all my life. I have a history of that, and still today nobody wants me. But I have Jesus Christ in my life. I hope the TV is working. And I'll give him the credit. And I'd like to tell you people, how can somebody, since I met the Lord, how can somebody who has not had much love and just the scorn, rejection, and abuse just about all my life since getting out to service, and nobody wanted, dealing with one of the worst of all the mental illnesses, because it's pretty bad, Casey.
It is.
And has become has become a world-class power lifter with 43 world weightlifting and powerlifting titles with the AAU organization, which is the largest sporting and oldest sporting organization in the world, and has written 9 books, which one of them is about ready to come out right now, The Time Traveler, which is, we hope, will be a real success, and has started this TV show that has been going on successfully for 12 years. How is that possible, ladies and gentlemen, unless you have some kind of backup? And my backup is God, How is that possible, to what I have accomplished by myself with no support, hardly any support? How is that possible? And I give all my success with schizophrenia and life to Jesus Christ, And I would like to say, before we start the show, if you're out there and there's injustice in the world galore, it's the enemy's world, it's the devil's world, and people get injustice, like sexual aggression, sexual abuse, just physical abuse, emotional abuse. We've all been hurt. We've all had our hearts broken. And I can identify with people like that are all alone in this world, that have absolutely nobody. I would like to say we have the support group that the NAMI gives, where we meet the first and third Sundays of the month at the First Lutheran Church behind Academy at 6 o'clock at night, and also the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month at 1:30 at the Extra Mile on Buchanan Street. So if anybody would want to come to that, and I can feel for people who are hurting all by themselves, because I've been there. I've been there, ladies and gentlemen. You can bet I've been there, and I still go there from time to time. And so I can feel for y'all. And if you're mad at God and don't think there's a real God because of all the injustice and abuse you've had, just ask Him to show you that He's real. And most certainly, I guarantee you, He will show you that He's real. He definitely will. So anyway, we're going to start on with the show. What y'all think about that, buddies?
I think it's pretty good.
That's good? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Okay. I'm looking for my thing. Okay, schizophrenia. The cause of schizophrenia is still unclear. I have paranoid schizophrenia. Casey has a form of schizophrenia. Scientists recognize that the disorder tends to run in families and that a person inherits a tendency to develop the disease. Similar to some other genetically related illnesses. Mental illnesses occur in your late teens or early 20s, usually triggered by stress. Scientists believe that people with schizophrenia have an imbalance of the brain chemicals or neurotransmitters, dopamine, glutamate, and serotonin. These neurotransmitters allow nerve cells in the brain to send messages to each other. The imbalance of these chemicals affect the way a person's brain reacts to stimuli, which explains why a person with schizophrenia may be overwhelmed by sensory information, loud music, or bright lights, which other people can easily handle. The problem in processing different sounds, sights, smells, and tastes can also lead to hallucinations or delusions. Okay. Now, if y'all are with us, let me continue. Behaviors that are early warning signs of schizophrenia. Hearing or seeing something that isn't there. A constant feeling of being watched. peculiar or nonsensical way of speaking or writing, strange body positioning, feeling indifferent to very important situations, deterioration of academic or work performance, a change in personal hygiene and appearance, a change in personality, increasing withdrawal from social situation, irrational, angry, or fearful response to loved ones, inability to sleep or concentrate, inappropriate or bizarre behavior, extreme preoccupation with religion or the occult. So, how long have you been diagnosed, Casey?
I've been diagnosed for about 3 months now.
3 months?
And about a month for the second diagnosis I got with schizoaffective.
Okay. Now, what were you doing before that?
Well, I was working, but then I got in a car accident.
Yeah.
So that's when I really started noticing the problems come on. At first, it was just diagnosed major depression.
Yeah.
And after a second visit to the hospital, it was schizophrenia. Then a third visit becomes schizoaffective.
Schizoaffective, okay.
And what schizoaffective is, it's a disorder that's a combination of schizophrenia
and bipolar. Yeah. I've been diagnosed with that too, but I have mostly schizophrenia. But what do you think about your life now? Now that you're on medication and everything?
A clear difference. It's definitely a clear difference. Complete different way of thinking, and all the symptoms have gone away with the medicine I take.
Yeah.
So very hopeful. I'm looking forward to spending the rest of my life without any kind of troubles.
Yeah. Like with my schizophrenia, schizophrenia is a mental thing. It's a mind thing, where the mind works overtime. Like with my schizophrenia, if I call somebody on the phone to talk to them, and they don't answer or return my call, with my mind, I might be thinking that they mad at me or that I did something wrong or something like that. Do you do that too sometimes?
I do. Usually I tend to think the worst. Something as simple as you said as a phone call not being answered.
Yeah.
Start thinking, did something happen to them? Or are they mad at me? Just a world of all negative things.
Yeah.
So I do feel that quite often. And I haven't here lately with the new medicine.
You haven't since you...
I haven't. The new medicine's working wonderful.
That's good. What's the medicine you taking?
Risperidol.
Risperdal. I've taken Risperdal already, right now I'm on Navaine, which is an old medicine that I've been taking all my life, so, yeah. So would you like to, where'd you go to school?
Went to Chalmette High School.
In New Orleans?
In St. Bernard Parish.
Okay.
Lived all over the Tri-City area of New Orleans, Kenner, or Jefferson, I should say, and St. Bernard Parish, up to Hurricane Katrina. I lived there.
And then you moved to Lafayette after?
I moved south to Maurice, south of Lafayette, and the roof was blown off by Hurricane Rita that come through after. So I moved off the coast. I felt it was a calling from God. So I moved to Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
I lived there for a while, then I moved back to Louisiana, and then I moved to Tennessee for a job, and now I'm back in Louisiana because it's my home state. I love it here.
Yeah, I like Louisiana. And he's a tower climber, ladies and gentlemen.
That is true.
How awesome is that?
It's a pretty exciting job.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it right now because of the car accident I was in, but I really do miss it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. How's your family doing?
Family's doing really good.
That's good.
I'm real happy they're there to support me, take good care of me when I'm having troubles, and make sure I get to the doctor if I need to go to the doctor.
That's good that your family supports you.
Yes, sir.
My family doesn't support me at all. Nobody has ever. I'm glad I can go to the support group with NAMI to talk about what's going on, because my family don't have a clue of what's going on with me. I know they love me, but they in my lifetime I've always been alone, and I'll probably be alone for the rest of my life, except for spirituality. What do you think about spirituality, Casey?
I'm a Christian. I attend Crossroads
Yeah.
in Lafayette. Very much enjoy it, and I feel the same as you. None of this would be possible without the help of God.
Yeah, thank you. And actually, I'm a walking miracle from where I was to where I am now. I used to smoke like that, 4 packs of cigarettes a day that I did 20 years ago. I'd be riding in the car, and I'd be smoking a cigarette and knocking out the ashes out, and people would be following me. They'd say they saw the cigarette fly out the window, throwing it away, and another one would magically appear. So I changed smoke so much. So, so let me go on with the positive symptoms, the symptoms of schizophrenia. Delusions, false ideas. Individuals may believe that someone is spying on him or her, or that they are someone famous or a religious figure. You ever have delusions?
I do. I don't feel like a religious figure ever, but I do have delusions. Sometimes I think people are out to get me.
Yeah.
It's usually paranoid delusions that I have.
Yeah.
Haven't had any here in a while, and I'm glad for that, because it got to a point where I would go from room to room, peeking out the blinds with all the lights off in the house.
See if somebody was watching you.
Seeing if somebody was coming to get me.
Yeah.
It wasn't just watching me. I was to a point with paranoia and delusions that I was afraid someone was coming to kill me or harm me in some kind of way.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that's went away, because that got pretty bad a while back, and now it's been going good.
That's good.
That was my biggest delusion.
Do you sleep well at night?
I do now sleep well with the new meds.
That's good.
You get full nights of sleep.
And you see a psychiatrist?
I do.
That's good. Okay, what about hallucinations? Here we go. Seeing, feeling, tasting, hearing, or smelling something that doesn't really exist. The most common experience is hearing imaginary voices that give commands or comments to the individual.
Definitely have hallucinations. It's mostly with lights, seeing flashes of lights. I might have seizure activity going on. I just seen my neurologist yesterday, so we're gonna get that figured out. It's followed with confusion when I see the lights. Lasts for about 5 or 10 minutes. So I might have seizures. I feel things touching me, not currently, but before I felt things touching my body that weren't there.
Yeah.
And just odd feelings, and the voices I've heard inwardly and outwardly. And the voices that I hear inwardly have always been with me for a long time, but I never thought of anything of it. I just thought I had like 2 consciouses.
Yeah.
Because it was always in my head, it wasn't outwardly. And come to find out, I'm schizoaffective, so that has all stopped since I've been on this new medicine.
That's great medicine. And that's the Risperdal, huh?
Risperdal, yes.
Yeah. Disordered thinking and speech. Moving from one topic to another in a nonsensical fashion. Well, you're not like that. Individuals may also make up their own words or sounds, rhyme in any way that doesn't make sense, or repeat words and ideas. You're pretty level-headed.
I am. I did have. What was the first one you read off before that you said I didn't have? The
Disordered thinking
confusion.
and speech.
With the confusion, when I was at my worst points and had to go to the hospital, I was very confused.
Yeah.
I couldn't make a decision for myself, so my family decided to just take me to the hospital and see if I needed to be there.
Well, thank God for your family, man.
Because I was so confused, I couldn't think to do my daily chores or take care of myself.
Yeah.
At that time, and they always notice. They always make sure they give me the help I need.
It looks like you got a good family.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
My mom, none of my family were ever interested in me, but I love my family and they love me, but they don't have a clue to what I've been through. But I would like to say Henrietta Borgby Avenue is the most fantastic person I've ever known. That was my mom.
Yes, sir.
And when I couldn't do anything, like when, like for example, in the bad days, when I would go take a bath, I was so nervous. I would just sit and just run the tub, sit in the tub, splash water on me, not even using soap or anything, and then just get up. And my mom would look at it and she'd say, use soap, and we start screaming at each other, and all the, it wasn't a, I brought her through the mill like all my brothers and sisters did, but she was a strong lady, and she's probably the reason I'm still here today, alive.
Sounds like a wonderful woman.
So yeah, she was. Well, so kudos to mothers, man.
Oh, yeah.
Mothers are fantastic.
Yes.
Before we go on, Mike, would you like to play? This is Mike Wetzel, ladies and gentlemen, playing the
The song I'm
mic.
gonna do is called Smile for Peace, cause there's been too much ugliness going on in the world today. Here we go.
How you like it?
Yes, sir.
Maybe the sun will shine, and maybe you will smile once again, my friend. Don't feel blue, smile for me, smile for peace. Don't feel blue, smile for me, smile for me, smile for peace. Let's see that big old smile from you. Your smile will silence the violence and stop the hate. Maybe the sun will shine, and maybe you will smile once again, my friend. Don't feel blue, smile for me, smile for peace, smile for me, smile for peace, smile for me, smile for peace. Let's sing together as one and smile for peace. If you stand for me, I'll stand for you. We'll stand together and silence the violence, give peace to sleep, and silence the hate, and stop the violence. Smile for me, smile for you, smile for me, smile for peace, smile for me, smile for peace. Give our mothers peace to sleep and smile for peace.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Mike Wetzel, ladies and gentlemen, local musician in Lafayette.
Oh, yeah.
Works at Albertsons. They love him at Albertsons. He's a lovable guy, a great guy. Getting back to what me and Casey were talking about, another symptom is disorganized behavior. That's what you were talking about.
Yes, I had a little bit of disorganized behavior, only in my worst times when I had to be hospitalized. Actions that weren't right. Nothing bad, really bad, but it was inappropriate for the conversations I was having.
Yeah.
Like my body language just read differently when it should have been a happy conversation.
Yeah.
I had more of a upset feeling.
Yeah.
So I did suffer with that a little bit there.
Yeah. Yeah, excuse me. I know this is inappropriate. Hello, Ann? We're on TV right now. I'm sorry. Okay. A friend of mine. Okay. I know that. Richard Phelps always tells me, turn your phone off, and I never do. I don't know. So you did have disorganized behavior.
I did.
You got a good family, man.
I do.
What does your dad do for a living?
My mom and dad are retired, but my dad worked in a carpenters union in New Orleans,
Okay.
and my mom was just always a homemaker for us kids.
That's
I'm
awesome.
one of 4 children.
And when Katrina hit, y'all started moving around.
Yes. Well, I started moving around. My family just stayed in the house in Maurice.
Okay.
The roof was fixed, of course. They stayed there, and then they bought a house in Henderson,
Okay.
and they've been there since. They love it.
That's great. That's great. That's great. This is a sportsman's paradise in
It is.
Louisiana. It's great, great. Okay. What we were talking about were the positive symptoms of schizophrenia, and I've had some of them. I've had delusions. Let me give you an example of where I was before I met Jesus. I would lie down in my bed. I had bought a house, an FHA house, and even my dad came look at it one time, and but I guess he wanted his son to be a success. I had his name. I was a junior's namesake, so he treated me really, really bad because I wasn't a success. But anyway, I would lie down in my bed at night thinking the most horrible things in the world with the schizophrenia. That, like you said, people were out to get me. Everybody knew what I was thinking. I thought that I was the worst pervert in the world, even though I'd never done anything, and that I was like a serial killer. Wait, excuse me. As evil as a serial killer, that's what I thought. Like the Bible says, you are who you think you are, and that's what I thought I was like. And I've never purposely harmed anybody in my entire life. And here I'm thinking these such horrible thoughts, and here I am just convulsing that night, sweating, screaming, crying, and I would do that many, 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 many nights for years and years with the schizophrenia. But I would always get up, find a job, work, Even though I worked the dirt jobs that nobody wanted to work, none of my brothers would work any of jobs that I ever had, I sold necklaces on the street. I worked in hotels. I dug ditches. I sold hot dogs. I did everything, to survive. And yet I would go home, and people thought I was psycho, I guess, I would burst out with crazy things every now and then, but I never. Off a job.
We're back.
Oh, okay, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the inconvenience. I hope y'all still watching. Here's some of the negative symptoms that people with schizophrenia have. Social withdrawal. I was so paranoid of people when I wasn't as well as I am now. I would go into Possum's restaurant. I wasn't working there at the time, and I wanted to talk to the girls, and the girls would ignore me, and my eyes were so big with fear, like saucers. You know how when you look into somebody's eyes and they're so big, you know, it's gonna freak you out.
Yes,
you know.
it will.
And they could tell, and of course I got the rejection, and I just wanted people to be nice to me and like me, and of course I always wanted a girlfriend, and of course I never did have one, you know. Of course I was married, but I got betrayed and abandoned, and the whole house was emptied out with the furniture and the whole you know. I've forgiven my ex-wife, but you know that was something else. But you know, I've always been alone, and back to people that are out there that are y'all all alone. Call in and talk. I'll be glad to talk to anybody that's out there that wants to talk. You know, we're there for you. So anyway, you said you were very apathetic. You had lack of drive or initiative, and an emotional flatness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I had definitely had just a blank feeling. Even when my brother passed away, I only cried for about 2 minutes, and then I just had like a numb look to my face.
Yeah, like stoic.
Yeah, almost like shock, I would say.
Huh?
It was almost like I went in a shock when my brother passed, but I don't think that I went in a shock. Of course, now I know it was because of my mental illness.
Yeah.
I had just no expression to my face.
Yeah.
While my family was upset, you know, going through the grief of it, I just didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
A very blank, empty feeling I had.
How does it feel to be alive again?
Feels very good.
That's good.
Very
good. Casey's got. Me and Casey met at the support group one Tuesday. The last Tuesday. That was the first Tuesday of the second Tuesday of this month. And Casey has some big plans he's got for his life. He's going to have an incredible life if he doesn't get sidetracked with his illness, which will come up occasionally. Like it comes up occasionally on myself too. But you know, I've had meltdowns. I've talked about them, but I always come through with it. You know, by the grace of that enormous entity who loves all of us, you know. He even loves ISIS and all that. Of course, you know, they don't love Jesus, but, you know, he's there for everybody, you know. But anyway, I thought I'd add that about. What you think, Mike? That's pretty cool?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
God
Now what we're going to get to are the names of the 5 different types of schizophrenia, that if you're listening. The 5 types of schizophrenia are paranoid schizophrenia, which I've been diagnosed, you know. Disorganized schizophrenia, catatonic schizophrenia, residual schizophrenia, and schizoaffective disorder. That's what you have.
Yes, sir.
According to Mental Health of America. Although related, each category of the disease presents a varying array of symptoms. Okay, before we go on to it, Mike, would you like to play again?
Yeah, I'll play something.
Okay, that's Mr. Mike Wetzel. Soon to be appearing in Las Vegas at the Mirage.
That'd be nice. Here we go.
Thank you, Mike.
Cool.
That's cool. Okay, here are the 5 types. All types of schizophrenia fit certain behavior patterns. According to Mental Health America, schizophrenia displays positive symptoms which are added to one's personality, such as paranoia, hallucinations, and disordered speech, as well as negative symptoms which are loss from one's personality, such as social withdrawal, apathy, and emotional unresponsiveness. Those who fall into one of the 5 types of schizophrenia generally exhibit some, but not necessarily all of these symptoms. Okay, now this is what I've got. Paranoid schizophrenia is characterized by extreme paranoid delusions, suspicions, and grandiose thinking, as stated by Mental Health America. Okay, now let me give you some of the thought. Like I told y'all what I was thinking about myself back in the lean days, the tough days. And I will suggest, like in this world, we all would like to be loved and belong to something, I'm glad for NAMI. I belong to NAMI. I belong to Richard Leday's church. My pastor, Dr. Richard Leday, he's a physics professor who the Lord takes to heaven occasionally, if you believe that or not. And then he sees what heaven is like. And I belong to that church, and they love me and they help me a lot. In fact, when Mike Fuselier led me to the Lord 26 years ago, we were on our way to Richard Leday's church. I just met him. And I was so nervous with fear and everything that I threw up in Mike and Tina's car. Mike Fuselier and his lovely, beautiful wife, Tina. I threw up in the back seat of the car, and they had to go back home to clean it. They turned around. So I just jumped in my car, and I went talk to Richard Leday, and I was telling him about these paranoid delusions I had about myself, horrible things like mass murderer, all kind of stuff that wasn't even real. And Richard would pray for me. And then one time Richard said, he doesn't believe that you love him, Lord. Show him that you love him. And instantly I broke out into laughter. Isn't that amazing?
That is.
And I still do that sometimes when I go to Richard's church. But that's where I was at that time. I was a very, very sick boy at that time, and thanks to my spirituality, which I did write a book, Mental Illness, God and Healing, about people that have a mental illness, how if they get into spirituality and God and or something, your higher power, or that it can aid with your mental illness. It definitely does for me, man. Look what I've accomplished. I couldn't accomplish that before. I never thought I'd be a writer. And they say I got the gift of writing. They say I'm good, so we'll see. But one thing it does do for me, whether it's great writing or not, it's great therapy for me. And I would like to caution people out there that if you're all alone, try to think of something to do for yourself. Like Casey said, he was working on a bench, right?
Yeah, painting. Just painting on it. Very detailed painting, and it's just work in general soothes my soul. I just like to be busy.
Yeah.
And it's good to have some projects that I can do that are lighter because of the car accident.
Yeah.
Such as painting. And it's an absolute wonderful thing for me. It's a type of therapy for me.
Yeah, and there's other types of therapy too, ladies and gentlemen. Like you can go out for a walk, if you're able to. Go out, walk, smell the air. If it's not raining, it rains here all the time. But when it's not raining, walk, try to do some exercise. You know, exercise is great. I exercise, and it does wonders for me. And let me brag a little bit. I forgot to say what I was going to brag about earlier. I went to Reds this morning, and I don't know if y'all notice how I look. I've lost over 20 pounds in the last few months, and I feel great about it, and I like my new look, and I feel terrific. Very, very self-fulfilling. And I would like to say that I forgot the word, but self-esteem, very much self-esteem. And I went to Reds this morning, and I deadlifted 276 pounds, weighs 160 pounds at 68 years old. You know, it's not like the 300 pounds I was deadlifting when I weighed 180. But, you know, I went 20 pounds lighter. I'm not as strong, but it's a start, you know. So that's not too bad.
Not at all.
No. So
That's awesome.
So that's not too bad. But anyway, with my schizophrenia, you know, it's thought process. And of course, because I wasn't social back there, I was always in the background and always stayed in the background. Like we say, some of the negative types of withdrawal, you know. And I never, nobody was ever interested in me to date me or anything. And I was always by myself, with my buddies. But anyway, you know, I'm by myself still, and this goes out to people that are by yourselves. You can have a life even by yourself. You know, we're gonna be doing a show on that later on, how to be your own best friend. And there's different therapies you can do. What do you do for therapy besides working? Mike plays music.
I pray. Praying helps.
You pray, yeah, prayer helps.
Sometimes I meditate.
Meditate.
And that helps clear my mind. But not a whole lot other than those things.
Do you watch TV?
Not a lot.
Not a lot?
No.
Okay.
Reading books.
What books you read?
Well, I'm reading your book right
How
now.
do you like it?
I like it. I'm about 100 pages in.
Oh, you find that I had an interesting life?
Yes. It's very good. I like the book.
Thank you. I read all the time too. Right now I'm reading Space by James Michener. When I work out at Reds and go in the whirlpool and the steam, I'm reading that book. It's fabulous. James Michener is one of my favorite writers, you know. But anyway, getting back to the different types of schizophrenia. Okay, then we did paranoid schizophrenia. I gave y'all a scenario of my paranoia. Another one is catatonic schizophrenia. On the other hand, shows symptoms such as social withdrawal, an unwillingness to speak or communicate, and unusual body positions, but does not often include delusions or paranoia. These are people that sit in the corner. They might rock and look at the wall or something like that, you know. That is a serious form of schizophrenia. One of the worst, you know.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Let me keep going. Disorganized schizophrenics often behave erratically and are often incoherent in both thought and speech. Okay. Yeah, you know, you were like that for a little while sometimes.
Yes, I wasn't responding proper when I went to the hospital and had a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
And just maybe trying to say a sentence and have an odd word within that sentence that shouldn't be there, something of that nature. Yeah. And I couldn't even realize it.
You know, if this would have happened to you, if you would have been born 30 or 40 years earlier and had this, you wouldn't have nearly the medicine that they have today to help you. You know. That I was like that. But anyway, thank God for progress.
Yes, sir.
And thank God for medicine. And thank God for doctors. That's this. Residual schizophrenia is a diagnosis given to individuals who no longer show symptoms such as hallucinations and delusions, but have no interest in continuing on with a normal life. Okay, I have a friend of mine. I won't mention his name, but he's like that. Which is a sad case. He pops up every now and then at my house, and we talk, and it's good to visit. But that's another type of schizophrenia. And finally, the last one on the list is schizoaffective disorder. And that's a little bit bipolar and a little bit schizophrenia. And I think I have a little bit of that myself. But before we go, Mike, would you like us to play another song?
Oh, yeah.
We're on the road tonight, man.
Yeah.
You having fun, Casey?
Yes, sir, I am.
Thank you, Mike. Before we go on, I forgot to ask at the beginning of the show when we were doing prayers to pray for the family of Betty Trail. She passed away a few days ago, and I know the family, and I wish them well, and the granddaughter Janae and her daughter Cherie and all the family. There'll be a mass said Saturday at 1 p.m. to honor her. So if anybody wants, it could be in St. Martinville at St. Martin the Tourist Church. Okay. Now I think we covered about all of everything. We got some other schizophrenia, but we won't go into the schizophrenia types, but we will go into something like I've been talking about Jesus and everything. For people with schizophrenia, like I go to church, Casey goes to church, we pray. Prayer and love are two of the most powerful forces in the universe, or the two most powerful forces in the universe in my reality. Available evidence suggests that for some patients, religion instills hope, purpose, and meaning in their lives. For others, it induces spiritual despair, But, for those where religion helps, using the word religion, I don't like to use the word religion, but let me read some statistics. Researchers have shown that religion in patients with schizophrenia is associated with increased social integration, reduced risk of suicide attempts, reduced risk of substance use, decreased rate of smoking, better quality of life, lower level of functioning, and better prognosis. With regard to the relationship of religion and psychosocial adaptation, the findings are contradictory. Okay, so anyway, I'm trying to say that spirituality helps everybody. How much, Lucy? 4. Okay. So anyway, getting back to the people out there, schizophrenia is a heinous illness. Because I had schizophrenia, I never had a family. I was too sick, I guess, and I was so shy and intimidated, and everything, and not able to socially function and everything. And I had the dirtiest, the worst jobs anybody could have, and I never succeeded in anything until, if you're watching, Mike, thanks for helping me. You there when nobody was there, you introduced me to the Lord, and that has been the change of my life. That has been a new meaning. So I can't help but emphasize, that's why I wrote the book, Mental Illness, God and Healing, because spirituality, if you're out there by yourself, like I say, again, I'm repeating myself, I know, but just ask God to show you that He's real, you know. And if you want God to come into your life, just tell Him you're a sinner and you would like Him to come into your life and be the Lord of your life, and automatically a miraculous event takes place. I remember when I gave my life over to the Lord, Mike Fuselier, I did it with Mike, and Mike baptized me in the Bayou Teche. I was wearing Speedos when he baptized me in the Bayou Teche. That's funny. But that just goes to show you that if you try and you have a will to succeed, and if you don't have a will to succeed and don't believe in anything and hate what I'm saying, just ask God to show you that He's real, and He'll do it. He'll most certainly do it. Look what He's done for me. How could what I have accomplished with nobody's help have been done with no love? How could I have done what I've done if it wasn't for something supernatural, ladies and gentlemen? That's all I'm saying. And that, as we like, before we go, I would like to say prayers for Patsy Bertrand and Cherie and Trail and Jack and Tommy and their sister, I forgot her name, and also for Janae, Janae Bertrand. We pray for them. They're wonderful people. And also, I would like to thank y'all for tuning in. And of course, we thank Jacob White for his expertise. Casey, thank you for being on the show. Mike, you did excellent. Thank you, sir. We hope y'all have enjoyed it. And we hope y'all tune into the next show. And we'll have you on again, Casey,
Sounds
as
good.
time goes on, and we'll continue to have different guests. Or I think next time we might have some bipolar people. I'm not sure, but y'all tune in and y'all watch the show. And I would like to say we hope it has been an asset to y'all. And like I said in the prayer earlier, by His stripes we are healed. We just ask Jesus to heal you. We hope this has been a healing show and has given you some motivation and some inspiration. Thank y'all for watching. How much time we got, Lucy?